A repossession can hurt your credit score and stay on a credit report for up to 7 years. But that doesn't mean they're immune to deletions. In this video, I'll break down how to use consumer law and factual disputes to legally challenge repossessions and get them removed from a credit report. All right. So we have a lot to cover. So let's jump right in. Okay. And if you have not been here around, or if this is the first time that you see me, or if for any reason this is the first time you've been here before, hi, my name is Danny and I own Scorpio Financial, which is a credit repair and management company that helps consumer and businesses fix and build their credit profiles so they can achieve any type of financing. Okay, so let's just dive right in, right? So what is a repossession? A repossession is the process by which a creditor, the person or entity who you owe money to, takes back property that was pledged as collateral from a debt. Okay, so a repossession happens when a borrower defaults on an auto loan and the lender takes back the vehicle. Okay, that's the event itself. All right, but what shows on your credit report it's a lot more than just a repossession. Okay, a repo inside of a credit report has the same significance as a collection, a charge-off, and even bankruptcies. Okay, which if you haven't heard of that, those are the hardest derogatory connotations that you can have, affecting you tremendously inside of your credit reports. Okay, and they're gonna be there for a really large period of time, up to 7 years to be exact. Okay. The craziest part is that the lender reports it because the credit report doesn't say if you turned in a car voluntarily or if they took it off from you as a lack of payment. So now, believe it or not, that is also the reason why you might be able to have the derogatory remark removed. Okay? The way that the creditor reports it, it's also where you have ways to be able to leverage, because you're not challenging the fact that the repossession happened. You are challenging how it's being reported and where is it compliant, is it not, is it accurate, is it complete, is it verifiable under all the federal law. Okay, so now let me tell you how that is possible. And if you have watched one of my videos or how-to videos for credit repair, you might have heard some of this before, but you can use it as a friendly reminder for how the rules work. All right, so here are the consumer protection laws that apply to repossessions. Okay, first, the Fair Credit Reporting Act. Okay, Section 611 gives you the right to dispute inaccurate or unverifiable information. Okay, Section 607B requires credit bureaus to ensure maximum possible accuracy. Okay, and Section 623 holds furnishers accountable for connecting or deleting inaccurate data. Okay. You also have, now that I think about it, the Truth in Lending Act, okay, which is another law that applies here. And this one regulates the way that lenders calculate and report balances and fees and interest in your credit report, okay? The UCC, which is the Uniform Commercial Code, Article 9 regulates repossessions practices, including notice, resale, deficiency on balances, which are, state specific. And I bet you didn't know there were so many laws in place actually that would be able to help you. All right, so those are the laws, the law framework, and if you want more details, you can always just Google them or ask AI about them, or whatever the youth does these days, or you can also just go back in the video and then just go over the little overview that I just gave you whenever it comes to those laws. Okay, so why is this framework so important? Okay, and it's important because of if any piece of this repossession account you have is reported incorrectly or inaccurately, like being balances or dates, statuses, you can legally dispute and demand for a removal of that account. Okay, so with that being said, you might ask, Danny, I don't know how a credit report looks like even. How are you telling me all these things? So let me tell you what you are searching for in there to just make sure that you're able to fix your reports. Okay, so first you want to find your account and see if there's any incorrect status reporting. Okay, the account should be listed as closed or repossession, not open or past due, for example. Okay, double statuses like charge off and repossession on the same line are pretty much just contradictory too. Let me see. Second, you want to check in the balances after a repossession. If the vehicle is repossessed and sold, the remaining balance must reflect that as well. okay? And if they're still reporting the full loan balance without subcontracting the auction amount, that's inaccurate as well, okay? Third, payment history after the repossession date, okay? Once a vehicle is repossessed, there shouldn't be any further payment activity, okay? So if you see payments or changes after the repossession, that's an error and something that you need to look forward to. All right. So fourth, you want to check for re-age delinquency. You need to look for the date of the first delinquency being pushed forward, pushed back. This is usually used to keep the account on a report longer, and it violates the 7-year statute of limitation rule that I told you a little bit about earlier. Okay. Another way that you're looking for is for missing sales information. Okay. Repossessions require the lender to resell the vehicle and apply the proceeds of the debt. Okay, if there's no records of resale or the delinquency balance is unclear, that's an incomplete reporting and you have access to dispute it. Okay, now with that being said, now those are little tips on what to look for. So let me tell you the step-by-step process to dispute a repossession. Okay, step one, as always, I need you to find and complete and just compare all the 3 of the credit bureau reports. Okay, that's Equifax, that's Experian, that's TransUnion. You need to review them. Okay, go every single one of them, find the repossession reports, and just look into everything that I told you about. Okay, I want you to highlight the inconsistencies in balances, in the payment history, in the dates, in the statuses. Okay, step number 2 is to create and write a factual dispute letter. Okay, and just trying to avoid vague language. Okay, I want you to use specifically legally grounded wording tied to your findings. Okay, let me give you a little example so you can kind of put all of this together. All right, so the account shows here what the full balance after the repossession date. Okay, so let's say under the Fair Credit Reporting Act and the Truth Lending Act, the balance must reflect result procedures, and please delete immediately, right? That's an actual factual dispute letter, okay? Or use something like the payment activity is shown post repossession, which is factually incorrect and violates the Fair Credit Reporting Act section 607B, right? So now we're talking, okay? Another one that you could use is maybe something like the account is listed as both charge off and a repossession. And then these statuses are mutually exclusive and they are causing the data reported to be inaccurate. Okay, delete this immediately, okay, from my credit report. So you see how we're starting to word everything that we learned earlier. So another one could be, let's see, actually, let me just walk into step number 3, okay? And I want you to include all the discrepancies, pictures, and things that you find alongside those letters, because it's very important. And at the same time, once you have proof of everything that is happening, it's going to make things a lot easier. Okay. Another step is that you must monitor by the end. You need to look out for any type of responses. You need to be looking out for anything in the mail, because under the Fair Credit Reporting Act, Section 611, bureaus must respond within 30 days, right? These days change a little bit during COVID, but we're back to normal. And if there are no corrections, a deletion must be made in order for them to be able to continue moving forward and perform law practices. Okay. So the next step is that you can also escalate, right? You can say a second level dispute. You can maybe reference the failure to correct the errors that you've listed in the past. Okay, you can mention Fair Credit Reporting Act Section 611, 623 for continued reporting or even inaccurate data. And then now when you're escalating, I need you to include stronger language such as this is a formal request for reinvestigation under federal law. You can also file a complaint with the CFPB as well as an escalation, and you want to clearly state what is being reported inaccurately and how the bureaus had failed to fix it. All right. They're going to ask you to attach some of the proof that you have had in the initial dispute of the unchanged report. And then you can also send a notice of intent to pursue legal action as well, right? Maybe like a demand to deletion type of letter. And if errors persist and the law has clearly been violated, notify the bureaus, notify the furnishers, and then with your intent to take legal steps after that. And usually this often comes with a deletion, right? Without needing to escalate further. But now that we're talking about this, here's what I don't want you to do, okay? don't dispute repossessions as not mine unless that's 100% accurate. Also, don't send the same dispute to all the 3 bureaus. You have all the information, the structure, the verbiage, so keep going that way. And what will happen is that they will flag everything as a template, and then they will pretty much stop doing any type of investigations under your name. Okay, and before, I want to also tell you some of like the key parts that I need you to remember. Okay, repossessions, they're tough, but they're not unbeatable, and it's not impossible to remove. All right, another thing that I want you to remember is that to focus on the errors and balances payments activity and account statuses. Okay, use precise factual disputes backed by the consumer law, just how I told you about. I need you to track all the activity and escalate strategically if needed. And well, I think that's it, guys. How to remove a repo from a consumer credit report. So I hope this video was helpful for you. If you have any questions, do not hesitate to leave it in the comments below. And yeah, if you found this video helpful, like, subscribe, and share it. So that way some more people like you and me can find it, just we're regular consumers here. So, and with that being said, I will see you guys on the next one.